Yes. Good evening. My name is Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United in Peace, Inc. We got a very interesting show today, and this was put together by none other than the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. She's the producer of this show, and she helped me put it all together, and that's Terry Marsh Bradley. And to God be the glory, she's my wife. We're going to talk about the new police superintendent coming in and people that want to say that the mayor is responsible for all the killings that's happening. And some people feel like all the children are bad children because a few bad children committing crimes. And Wednesday, the new superintendent will become before the city council to officially take his place as the new superintendent, because he would be confirmed by the full city council. So without further ado, to God be the glory. Let's get on with the story.
Johnson picked Chief Larry Snelling, a 28-year veteran of the force. The city council must approve first, but he is already making his priorities known. NBC5's Charlie Wojciechowski reports.
Counterterrorism Chief Larry Snelling will be taking over for Fred Waller, the man he calls his mentor, as the next Chicago police superintendent.
So whatever the challenges are, I'm up for the challenge.
Selected by Mayor Brandon Johnson from the three candidates named by the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability, Snelling has worked his way up from patrol to commander of the Englewood District and has trained many of the cops on the force today.
His ability to build trust between rank and file, as well as the public they serve, puts him in a class all by himself.
But Snelling's job will not be an easy one, leading a department low on morale and with low staffing. He says his first priority will not be fighting crime, but addressing officer wellness.
In order for our officers to love someone else, we have to love them.
Second, Snelling says, will be an emphasis on crime victims.
What I believe that we've forgotten everywhere are the victims of crime, the trauma that those victims deal with. We cannot forget about the victims. We have to have a focus on that.
The new soup says community engagement and the use of technology will be key to fighting crime.
The key to everything is trying to be proactive to prevent these crimes from happening so that we don't have to investigate violent crimes later.
Among the technologies Snelling has promoted in the past, gunshot detecting ShotSpotter, something the mayor had campaigned against.
We're going to have that conversation in the future, right? Yeah, we're committed to collaborating. Thank you.
For now, interim superintendent Fred Waller will remain in place. This approval process could be a longish one. First, there has to be another meeting with the selection committee and the public. Then a committee hearing with city council members, then a full city council vote. That could take at least 3 weeks or more. Reporting from City Hall, Charlie Wojciechowski, NBC5 News.
Nature right
The wonderful
here.
thing about this superintendent is that he's in tune with the community. I believe he was born and raised in Englewood. He was in that police station in Englewood for the time that he was a police officer. He comes through the ranks. He's a cop's cop. He understands the community. I think he's going to bring the piece together, but don't get it twisted. He's not going to be soft on crime. And just like the deputy mayor that's going to be pushing the initiative instead of public safety, community safety, because he knows the only way he can have community safety is when everybody join in with community law. That's zero tolerance for senseless violence, inclusive of domestic violence, zero tolerance for shootings and killings, senseless shootings and killings, zero tolerance for the abuse and the rape of women and children, and zero tolerance for the abuse and the robbery of elders and senior citizens. Community is where, law is where the community come together, and no longer are they going to try to find excuses talking about he's a young child, he was this or she was that. Like we heard in the news where a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old, read that to you right now. The two boys, age 14 and 16, carjacked a 66-year-old man in Rogers Park on Sunday morning, Chicago police said. The pair is suspected of participating in two other robberies in the area around the same time, but they have not yet been charged in those cases. The hijacking occurred in the 7400 block of North Rogers around 6:15 a.m. 6:15 a.m. This was a senior citizen. The victim told police that three male offenders armed with a gun arrived in a car driven by a woman. They got a young girl riding with them. Yeah, they juveniles, and then now we have a no bond thing that's happening here. And the question becomes, will they charge them as juveniles or will they charge them as adults? Because had they killed that man, we couldn't say they're just kids. All kids ain't bad kids, but you got bad kids that's doing things that make it appear as if all children are bad kids. On that note, could you hit the next story?
A nationally recognized news correspondent whose 18-year-old brother was gunned down in Chicago last year joined violence prevention activists today.
And they marked National Remembrance Day of murdered victims, and they called on Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx and Mayor Brandon Johnson to enforce the laws already on the books in the city and state. Groups including Violence Interrupters, Project Hood, and Ex-Cons for Community and Social Change made those demands in front of police headquarters this afternoon. Their message: families across the city deserve justice after being torn apart with violence just about every day. And Fox News analyst Gianno Caldwell's younger brother, as Anthony mentioned, was killed last year in Morgan Park.
Brandon Johnson saying we can't demonize children. Children, the whole institution of a child is innocence. Innocent kids don't murder people. What are you talking about, Mr. Mayor?
The violence prevention groups claim violence has gone up 30% under Mayor Johnson's administration.
He ain't saying everyone is innocent. When you commit a crime,
the man tapped to become
you're not innocent. And the reason I be speaking this all the time on my program, talking about what I do and what Holmes do, and that's why it has to be community law. We all need to be pushing community law, as well as those brothers that's standing up. And I'm speaking because I had a loved one get murdered. So I understand the passion and what that brother is saying about his family member. But then again, the community know the individuals that's doing it because they come back to the community and they talk about it. They sit back, they watch the news, they get on their phone, they say, hey man, you know, that I did this lick, you know, that was me, that was that. The community need to say who that individual is. Just like the two juveniles, where there may have been 3 juveniles from read in the other story, and had a young lady in the car. Had that man got killed, each one of them would have been charged with murder. Just like in May, the Kia boys, what they call them. I guess that's a group of individuals that steal Kia cars. steal the policeman's car from in front of City Hall. They found the car at the scene of another carjacking. Just like we read how they're shooting up funerals, football games, and somebody know who they are. But then a lot of them guys that's saying what they're saying from them organizations, first thing they say, we don't believe in turning no one in. That's snitching. An individual that's responsible for senselessly killing children, women, and the elderly, that's not snitching. That's a cancer within our community that needs to be eradicated out of our community. And I'm speaking as a former criminal. And when the community got tired of me and others committing crime in their community, which was our community, until we violated their law, we were ostracized from that community. So the law enforcement come and lock us up. We have our day in court. We get our time. We come back out to become a part of society, even though we have made the mistakes, to make life better for others if they would listen to those that have made those mistakes. And not only that, if those that's in the position to give individuals money for the program to help stop the violence, you need to allow them to be able to go into schools and speak about the violence before the young adults become violent. And I'm saying that because I want my viewing audience to listen to me. We're the only race of people that allow another race to convince our children that they shouldn't listen to the elders. Something to think about. Can't put it on the mayor, can't put it on the police, can't put it on white people. We're the only race that convince our children that they shouldn't listen to their elders or their parents. That's why you see them jumping on cars. They don't know you can go to jail for that. Okay? I'm just saying we got a responsibility. So my time's about to run down. So let's get to the next topic.
The man tapped to become Chicago's next police superintendent is one step closer to securing the job. A city council committee just voted to move that process forward. Before he was on the hot seat for questioning, he was greeted by a round of applause. Snelling joined the department back in 1992 as a patrol officer in Englewood and then a sergeant in Morgan Park. After a nationwide search and input from the community and a civilian board, Mayor Johnson recommended him for the job. Before their vote, the City Council Committee on Police and Fire spent hours asking him about his plans for public safety, retaining and recruiting officers, and department reform.
And young people who once said, I want to be the police, don't feel that way now. And so how are we going to fix those relationships?
When people say I don't trust the police and I don't want to be a part of it, you tell me where you can go in this country and not find problems. Mm-hmm. If we're going to get ahead of this, if we're going to get better, then we have to be a part of the solution.
Now that Snelling has passed through this committee, there will be a full council vote next Wednesday. Snelling would then be officially sworn in.
We ask no questions, but it takes all of us to be about the solution. Only way they can trust the police is to stop trusting the people that's terrorizing their community. I'm seeing people saying and pointing fingers and blaming this person and that person. They blame the state's attorney. They blame the sheriff. They blame the police. They blame the mayor. They blame the governor. They blame the congressman. But they know who the individuals are in their community that's terrorizing the community. And another thing I want to share with you, I want you to hear me, and I want you to share this message. Get on the telephone, telegram, or tell another Negro that security about to be so tight in this town, y'all just worry about the cameras on the lights or whatever that is. The Democratic Convention is coming to this city. And the individuals that's tricking our kids to come down and disrupt, they're going to tag in to you, and I'm sharing with everybody. Tell your children, don't let nobody TikTok them into jail or to get harmed because you come into a secure perimeter, especially with those Republicans, those MAGA folks that love Trump, want to create chaos so that something can happen in this Democratic city with a Democratic mayor. It's going to be up under Homeland Security rule. And I believe they're going to pass legislation. They need to pass legislation against domestic terrorism. They're going to make sure this city is safe. If you get caught up, they're going to slam you down. They ain't going to care nothing about your rights. It's getting to that point now. That young man that spoke in the last story, or before the last story, the second story, he's going to use all his powers to help apprehend the individuals that killed his family member. That's what he's supposed to do. I want to say this within the last 5 or 6 minutes I got on this show. I just came from Washington, D.C., the Congressional Black Caucus. And I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to have a special report so you can see what people are saying. And I want to say, Chicago, we got a right to stop complaining, support those elected officials that's in office, from Danny Davis to Jonathan Jackson to Robin Kelly to the mayor to the county board commissioners, because they're all working cohesively now. I ain't telling you what I'm thinking they're doing. I'm witnessing what they're doing. And you need to pay attention too. So with that, I want to say, don't choke, vote. March 19th, 2023. Vote, don't choke. And if you're in the 7th Congressional District, please vote for Dietrich Bowman. And please vote for Jesse Reyes for the Supreme Court in order to have a diverse Supreme Court. Or just vote for who you want to vote for. Just get out there and vote. With that, I want to say to God be the glory. That's my story. Vote, don't choke.